What's going on, Chris? Hold on, let me get my screens right. I'll bring that guy on in a second. Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covered the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. I know it's hard times right now. These Carolina Panthers aren't winning, and you don't care to tune in much. But you know what? I can still be your soft shoulder to cry on, right? So I'm still going to work for you guys, whether we're winning, whether we're losing. I invite you to leave your comments. This 1 hour long show, I should say up to 1 hour long show, is 100% dedicated towards answering your questions, right? And also, I want you to remember this. The show's on Monday. I want you to appear. So in a second, I am going to put the link out there for you guys to come on, whether you're on your phone, at home on the computer, whatever, and join me. And you'll soon see my co-host today to ask your questions or just to vent about this Carolina Panthers team. All right, so don't be shy. And Locksmain, if you're out there watching, this is your opportunity to get off the bench, get back in the game by coming on the show. But also, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. Again, I know it's tough. I'm asking a lot when we're losing like we're losing. Chris, I don't want to describe. I don't even want to talk about the Panthers, but you do. You like the team. You just want them to be winning, which I totally get. So please help us get to now 50, 100 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. The like button also helps other Carolina Panther fans find out about us, and the bell notification helps let you know when we're live. All right, so make sure that you do that. Without further ado, I'm going to hit this button right here. You're going to see that I'm joined by the man that is probably happy that we are indoors because his
Oh,
hair is not going to fly
absolutely.
around.
No wind in here today, at least. So I think we're taken care of on that part of it, at least.
Yeah, my great co-host Andre Cassidy. Thank you for joining me.
And thank you for having me.
So this is your first time joining me for the Monday show. Feel free to join me any point in the future on a Monday. We're also going to start. I'm going to say next week, start having other guests as well on the show, which I think everybody will enjoy. It's always lots of fun. Let me go ahead and put this link out there. So give me just a second, and I'm going to put this link out here.
Oh, is that your kid back there that
Can
I'm
you
hearing?
hear
Yeah.
him? I was wondering. If you could hear. Yeah, he's hearing.
Maybe he'll make an appearance at some point today or in the near future.
Yeah, he's been on a couple times. Let's see. So I don't know how to pin this out there, but there it is. That link from me. That's how you can click on that. Join us on the show. Ask us your questions, please. We'd love to hear from you. All right. So let me go ahead and welcome back Ali Broderick and Andre. You're probably going to start to recognize these people now as we get into your
Oh,
third year
yeah.
that we're
It's a
regulars
common
here.
theme.
All right. In no particular order, we're just going to start knocking them out.
Yeah.
And please start leaving your comments. Andre, it's just jump in when you want to. I like to be kind and say you can go first, but I'll read it. What are the possibilities
Yeah.
of Baker being benched for this Sunday's game?
Oh, man. I don't know about that one. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said yesterday on the post game show, he's our best option. And, he may not be, Carolina's long term option, but as it stands right now, he is the best of what we got right now, whether you like it or not. I know the conversation, is getting brought up with potentially bringing in PJ Walker, Sam Darnold. I mean, you can entertain that all that you want in your mind, but I mean, ultimately speaking, I just don't think it's a feasible option for them to move off of Baker at this point in the season when they're still, and I get it, we're still waiting for, their offense to come into fruition and rhythm. I just don't see that, being an option that they would go to at this point, Chris.
Hey, I hope my mic isn't too loud. I don't know if you guys hear that burp that I tried to do under my the mic. But yeah, so Ali, appreciate the question. In terms of
It's a
what are
good
the
question.
possibilities, it's zero. And the reason why it's zero is Sam Darnold is not going to be available this week. He becomes, I believe, eligible to get off IR, but medically, Coach Rule is not feeling like he's there yet. And even when he does get cleared, you probably want to give him some chance to get some reps in and get some cardio back. and a little bit of rhythm before you just put him back out there. So 0% for Sam Darnold, and PJ Walker would be the alternative. Well, the only other option at this point. And
Yep.
I am just 1,000%. I am more of a fan of PJ Walker starting the game straight up than coming off the bench. Coming off the bench, he just tries to put on his Superman cape and save the day, and it never works out. It never works out. We got. See, I'm gonna just say I appreciate. Oh, he went away. We had somebody that was waiting to come on the
Oh
show,
man.
and then he went away. So I'm gonna again plug it. This show is all about the fans. All right. So I'd love for you all to join me visibly on the show. Whether you're
Yes.
doing it on your phone, on the computer, but there's a link that
Make
is on
your
the that's in
voice
the
heard. That is
right.
for sure. This is your day, everybody. So please, and this is the day to do it, especially after a loss like it happened yesterday. Time to vent the frustrations. This is the time to do it now. Absolutely.
All right, Taylor. So I see you there. Give me just a second,
Oh, do we
and
have somebody?
we have somebody. Taylor, give me a
Oh
thumbs
man.
up if you're hearing me okay, and
Can you
then I'll
hear
bring you
us?
on. I was about to say you went off the screen with this. So I was gonna say bring it to the screen, but all right,
Yeah.
I see you there. So let's go ahead. So when I bring you in, you can say your name, which I've already said, and state your question. Then I'm gonna have you off, and we'll go ahead and respond to your
Yeah.
question. So here we go. Did we do it properly?
Yeah,
Hey,
what's
my
up,
name is.
Taylor?
How's it going? My name's Taylor. So yeah, I was wondering what. So I know the main question is whether or not Rule's being fired and all that stuff. But my question is, let's say Rule makes it through this third season, and let's say things continue to be terrible, and he ends up, and he ends up like only like another 5 wins or less. And let's say I think the worst case scenario for me is Tepper decides not to fire him because some people think he still might make it to a fourth season. I think that is to me a very very bad us looking to the future. If he has another three consecutive losing seasons and he yet to get fired. That makes me just really worried about David Tepper and how he decides to handle. Like I understand the first season, I understand the second season. I really would prefer him to go ahead and kind of let go after midway through the third if he's not improving. But if he has to make it through the third, he needs to let go. I'm worried that he actually decides to keep him for a fourth season after obviously having a very bad collective of season and just not pulling the trigger. So my question is, how comfortable do you feel knowing that if he stays for a fourth season, like the real, future of the team?
Hey Taylor, I appreciate your question there, man. Even though your question had me thinking that I may jump off a list depending on what
It was
scenario
a very depressing question,
you were
but a
gonna give
question that
me.
needs to be asked.
At first, I thought he was saying, hey, if they're terrible this year and he gives them a fourth season, like how do I feel? And that's man, I hope that's as close to impossible as can be that he'd have a terrible season and they give him a fourth season. So I'm just going to overall talk about what I foresee as possibilities. I'm not going to give you too many to think about. And Shakir, I see you there in queue, so I appreciate you. We're going to get through answering the current question, and
Yeah.
then we're going to bring you on. And I'm going to again say to everybody watching, this show's for you. Click on the link to scroll up in the comments. I'll try to paste it again, and you can click on that link. Join us on the show. Just say who you are, and then state your question, and Andre and I will entertain it. So for me, my feelings on David Tepper and what he's going to do with Coach Rule. My feeling is going to be, I'm only going to give you two. I'll let Andre chime in. First one is, if he's going to be fired, it's going to happen during the season. Matt Rule will not make it through the season if he's going to be fired, which says, yes, if he makes it through the season, then he's going to continue to coach next year. Now, I'll say this at this point on because of what Taylor said there about this, him being on a fourth season. No, it's not going to be 5 wins and he gets to continue to coach this team. It's going to be, let's see, we've already lost 3 games. I'm not going to predict where he's going to be, like is he going to make it or not. Things are definitely bad right now, but Taylor, you don't have to worry. If he's losing this season, he's not going to be on for another season. And my feeling is that he'll be fired during the season or he'll make it and through his fourth season. Andre, you can go ahead and have
And
the play.
here's the thing about this stretch that's coming up here soon. I mean, you have San Francisco, you have Tampa Bay, and then you have LA over the next 3 games. So if you are on the fire rule bandwagon, there's a high possibility that it's going to happen within the next 3 weeks because of just how tough you're really reaching, a pretty tough part of the schedule. I mean, starting out this season, you would have ideally liked to have gone like 3-1 or at least 500 through these first 4 games, knowing that this stretch was going to come up. So if he were to get fired, I think that is when that would happen. Now to, the second part of your question of whether or not he would come back for a 4th season, I mean, it's really hard to say at this point, seeing how things have gone up to this juncture of the season. But for him to secure a 4th season here in Carolina, he has to either go 500 or make the playoffs, which at this point and how everything has seemingly gone up to this point in the year, it seems really hard for that realistic possibility to happen, which doesn't seem too realistic right now. So if he were to get fired, it's going to be during the season because I don't think he'll make it to the end of the season at this rate.
All right. So we have, I can't say their name because then that's going to ruin them say their name. So I'm just going to say, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. The thumbs up is there.
Ooh, who we got?
Who we got? I'll let him introduce himself. Here we go. He's up.
Shaquille.
Oh, it's a regular.
Hey, Chris.
How's it going?
How's it going?
So, a couple of things. Number one, I believe Tepper should pull the plug right now. I posted on Twitter, I sent you guys pictures yesterday. 28 minutes before kickoff, Sam Mills Hall of Fame game. The stadium was halfway empty. More fans showed up for FanFest and for preseason. I know it's terrible. Then to the game yesterday, the only reason why Ticketmaster, I just checked a few hours ago, why the price for Ticketmasters for this coming game are ranging 100, 120. It's because the 49ers. Just for the record, the tickets that I paid yesterday was $42 in section 545, row 9. Typically, this type of ticket would cost $90 to $100. So that is number one. Number two, Baker Mayfield mentioning that he doesn't care about the boos of the fans. That is unacceptable. I mean, I understand you're a professional athlete and all of that, but at the same time, you have to show some sort of emotion and compassion, understanding toward the fans, which Matt Rule did state today. Yeah, I get it why the fans boo. And just for the record, when the offense first drive, we didn't boo them, but we started booing second half when they played like garbage. Pardon my language.
Booing before you got to the game.
Before the game, we were ready.
Built up anger.
Before the game, we were ready to yell fire rule, which I know you guys were in the press box, but in the lower bowl, in the 2 minutes warning, you could hear everyone stating fire rule. And here's the thing about Matt Rule. He's an outstanding human being. I can tell that even though I never met him in person. But to me, it seemed like he's too nice of a coach to his players. I mean, guys, Jeremy Chan was injured yesterday, out his hamstring. Why would you put Sean Chandler? Let's be honest. Had he not went to Temple, he would not been on this roster right now. I mean, he got beat up on the touchdown pass. He was responsible for the touchdown pass that the Cardinals scores. He's responsible for a couple of the deep and short route that the Panthers got beat. And the only reason why he was in the game because he went to Temple. And then finally, guys, third and one. You have the best running back, one of the best running back in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey. You have Foreman, a very good, tough running back. And you throw a deep route to a very unreliable tight end, Ian Thomas. So yeah, Baker Mayfield is definitely not the franchise quarterback that we were hoping for. But the problem start and end with Matt Rule and Tepper. You need to wake up because he's about to see two things: empty stadiums and opposition fans show up every game. It is what it is.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate your commentary. I think we would categorize that as a vent, but
But
that's
it was a
what we
well
here for.
organized event. I mean, he had what he wanted to say, and he did it bullet by bullet, and he made a pretty good point there. I mean, on a lot of things that a lot of people were feeling yesterday.
Yeah, and we're gonna touch on them. Unfortunately, I got other things going off on my computer. You see
Yeah,
everything around here, so I can mute this stuff. Here we go, mute it. There we go. But yeah, some very valid things, Jackie. I always appreciate you. You're pretty much on every single broadcast. Interact with us on
appreciate the
Twitter,
support, man.
which is here's a quick plug for our other social media. Twitter and Instagram. Instagram primarily is a great place if you love seeing photos of the game. I know we're not winning right now, but we have a great photographer, Julio, that takes pictures during the game each and every Sunday. So we're starting to post those right now. Some pictures are already posted, I think, of Frankie Louvu and
Yep.
when he got into that scuffle yesterday. But check out our other social medias as well. So, I don't think that Baker Mayfield can say too many things right now that would make people say, "Yeah, Baker's my man." So,
I mean, he's in a pretty precarious spot right now, and he's not really helping his cause with his on the field performance.
yeah, but Shaq talking about the comments of Baker saying he can't care about the booze. He can't.
Kind of
I mean, he's
has to,
playing,
though.
right? You can disagree, you can not, but I
Yeah.
just don't think these guys can say much sometimes to make us feel happy when they're 1-3. I know Robbie Anderson said something about fans basically not being good fans if they're booing. So it's just going to be like winning heals everything. There's just going to be a disconnect. Like, I guess one of the questions: do you care that fans boo? And he probably said, "Yeah, I care, but I can't let that make me put my head down and go on the bench and start to cry." So, but I get Shaq also not liking to hear that. And then as far as the attendance goes, me and Andre were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, it was a light crowd yesterday, even before kickoff.
Yeah, it was. And yes, Shaq, we could hear the boos inside the press box toward the end because it was so quiet. You could hear all that. So, hey, we're going to speed up a little bit as we try to get through a lot of these comments that are coming here. Appreciate everybody that tunes in and asks some questions. So, let's see, we're about 20 minutes in. Let's go back to this one. I had this one marked that we did not say earlier. Do you think Baker is the weakest link on this offense? I would say this. He's a link that when it's weak is the most exposed. If we had another position, a running back, a receiver, even a one lineman that was weak, not saying they're terrible, but they're weak, you got some other guys that can kind of help you out. Lineman, you got a guy that can cheat over, or maybe a running back can help you with a block. Wide receiver, you got some other guy that maybe can help get you a little pick or something like that. But when you're the quarterback, the signal caller, the one who's touching the ball every single play, if you're a weak link, it is certainly going to be exposed. And Baker, yeah, I would say he's the weakest link in that he's the most important, and he's a weak link right now and needs to get better than he is. So appreciate.
Well, it also helps that he shouldn't be getting 9 passes batted down every game. I don't think that's going to happen again. I mean, that was a pretty you rarely see something like that happening, but I don't think moving forward that's going to be the norm. You would think.
And I think we have some clarity on that because I know we were yesterday. So keep in mind, guys, on game day, Andre is there helping me, which helps out tremendously. But we're still a small unit if you really want to understand what all we're trying to do is getting out live content to you guys. And at the time that Andre got the stat. We didn't know exactly what the parameters of it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe Andre that it was 9 on the year.
Oh,
That
9 on the
he
year.
had,
Okay.
yeah, and I think it was 4 or 5-ish yesterday. But he's still leading the league and bad at passes. Nevertheless, and needs to get those fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Baker was so bad yesterday that I turned off the TV before the fourth quarter. Come on, Underground West. Yeah, I understand though, man. I understand. Probably would leave if we could, but that's not our job.
Well, I think he made a smart decision because he didn't see the worst of what was to come when the fourth quarter turned. And oh man, there's a lot of ugly plays that took place in that one quarter.
Yeah, leaving early did afford you the opportunity to not see the 16 points that Arizona put up. And you guys might hear my kid before it's out here. I think he's hollering daddy right now, which is funny because he loves his mom a lot. But here we go. Oh, I already played that one.
Yep.
What's going on, Josh? Appreciate you tuning in. Why Big Jordan says I told you. I forget what you told me. Do you remember what he told me yesterday?
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
Not off the top of my head.
If you could tell me what you told me, so you're probably right.
Yeah.
You know,
if you care to specify.
For that. What's going on, AJ Lindsay? Hey, I'm joined today by Andre Cassidy.
Yeah.
I'm rhyming, didn't even know I was going to do that. But be sure to say what's up to Andre.
Yeah. Show some love.
All of the 2022 season, and he's doing a great job so far. Oh, same time, man. Hey, Big Jordan, you can click on the link, man. Click on the link.
Tell us how you truly feel, man.
And talk to me, Big Jordan. The link's in there. You see the comment that says join us on the show. Click the link. Big Jordan, I'm going to invite you to hit that link. Join us on the show. It's not Sam time, but I love to hear your argument for it being Sam time. The offense sucks. Too bad Corral is injured. Get him some playing time.
Well, it ain't going to happen until next year at the earliest. So, I mean, we would all like to see him play at this point in the season, but I mean, with him and that injury, it's definitely not going to happen until next year at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm anxious.
Which is unfortunate.
This thing. If tune in, subscribe to the channel. If just not to see how all this unfolds. Right, 1-3, it is not looking good at all, and certainly start thinking about, well, if it's not looking good, how do you get it right? Do you fire the coach? You would think that is a step. Mm-hmm. And then what's the next step, right? That's the big question. Who does he hire? What do they do with the quarterback situation? Do we go ahead and focus on developing Matt Corral, or do we try to get some other pieces in here? Will we have an interim coach? We don't know. So good reason to tune in and subscribe to the channel. Baker is a backup, and we need an alpha male over 6'2". Popping bullets first. He said it. I hear you laughing.
I mean, there are quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are not 6'2", that are actually performing pretty well. But the first part of your statement there, he is playing like a backup right now. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. He is really in a position right now where he has to prove himself this year. And I don't know if he understands that as of yet, because based off of what he said in his press conference, he's not treating this period of time as like the end of the world. But I feel like he kind of has to in order to prove that he can still be a productive quarterback in this league.
So, hey, here you go. I just Googled this, right? Quarterbacks under 6 feet.
Currently in the NFL, right? Or just in history.
And I'm not going to go too far back because this seems like it might go back to like the 60s.
Yeah.
But we all know, how tall was Drew Brees?
6 feet.
All right. How good was Drew Brees?
Hall of Famer.
Right. So, Baker, you don't have to be that tall. I think he needs to get some other parts of his game. Russell Wilson.
6 feet.
Under 6 feet. Currently has a huge contract playing for the Denver Broncos. He's won a Super Bowl. It can be done. Let's go for another one. This one, you probably don't think about too much. Michael Vick. How tall was that guy? He was not that tall.
He was right at 6 feet, right?
Yeah, he might be 6 feet and a half, a half inch, but he was not a big guy. He had some wheels on him. He had a heck of an arm, and he can make it. And I got one more for you. And I'm actually I might try to reach out to this guy. I thought about it last night. Doug Flutie.
Oh wow, yes, that's
Doug
another
Flutie.
guy.
Yeah, he was 5'10". He won the Heisman in college, and then he had an extraordinarily long career. I think
So
he
it's not
played.
impossible. It's
Yeah,
definitely not impossible. And I think with Drew Brees, he kind of was one of the catalysts for people to say, hey, you don't have to be super duper tall to be successful in the league. And I think he allowed for other guys like Russell Wilson, like Kyler Murray, who we played against yesterday. He was kind of the blueprint towards, saying, hey, there are ways to overcome, not being a super tall quarterback. And there are ways around that. And part of that is, being a mobile player, but also it's just, being able to make adjustments whenever they are needed. And he was really the catalyst for, all these other guys who are now entering the league who may not be super tall, but they have other attributes of their game that overcome the size deficiencies that they may have.
and I'm glad you said this, Andre. You mentioned Kyler Murray. Like, no joke. There was a play yesterday where they were going to our right in the press box, and I
Yep.
forget who was behind him. I don't know if I said something out loud, but I think I might say, "Where's Kyler Murray?" Because
Yeah.
it looked like some big guys at quarterback. I didn't know need to go up a little bit further, but the guy looked like puny because the running back was in one of the more upright positions. He wasn't too
Hmm.
much down like this. He was almost upright, and he made Kyler Murray look so tiny.
It's
But
insane. And,
yeah,
he has that ability to overcome that with his speed and his mobility. So just because, you're a 5'10" guy, that doesn't mean you can't make it in the NFL. And he's another prime example of, being a franchise quarterback and also making key plays for his team while despite being under 6 feet tall.
and I actually went into the Cardinals locker room after the game, and it was ironic or funny because to me, like, I don't know, it seems like teams always protect their star quarterback. He was the very first locker
Oh,
when you
wow.
walked into the locker room. He was number one above it. I thought that was kind of different. But this guy, I'm telling you, if you did not know he played football and you did not recognize him, you would have walked past him so quickly
Right.
because he just looks just like
Just some
everyday
ordinary dude.
Joe Blow
I mean, rather than the
that works
hair,
out. Yeah, yeah.
rather than the poofy hair, I mean, he just looks like some, ordinary dude.
And let me say this: Andre and I are not saying that Baker Mayfield is the answer, but we're saying merely having the attribute of being 6'2" is
It's not
not
an
enough.
excuse. It's not
It's
an
not enough.
excuse. Whether you like it or not, it's not an excuse you can use to say this is what's holding me back.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. Let's continue to walk through some of these. I forget exactly where I left off at. Big Jordan is saying to Sam, give Sam the second game.
Not happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's up,
Just
Rodney?
not
Appreciate you
happening.
joining us.
What's going on, Rodney?
Leonard Kowalski, good day, Chris and Panthers Nation. What's going on, Leonard?
What's going
Appreciate you,
on, man?
appreciate you. Hey, again, going to continue to promote it throughout the show. Click on the link. Love to have this show's about interacting with fans. Click on the link that's in the comments that allow you to join our show via video and ask me and Andre any questions that you may have. All right. Josh says the rule is gone week 8.
And we're going to be in week 5.
We're
So
in
that
week
would
5.
be the last stretch or the last week of that 3-game stretch that I was talking about earlier. So
So he's saying
that's
after the Atlanta game. After the Atlanta game is when the rule's going to be gone.
Do you think he makes it that one to week 8? I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic, but also like reasonable in the timeline here. But I just don't know if he makes it that far. I mean, if they continue to play like they've been playing, recently, especially in yesterday's game, I don't even know if he can make it after next week, let alone week 8. I don't even know how he made it to today.
Well, you know what? I give him a fair chance to make it to the bye week, just from a business perspective. Of
Because you are a business guy, Chris.
right, I am a business guy, and being fans, you just think about the now, and I
Yeah.
get it. But from a business perspective, you paid this guy oodles of money, and we're kind
$62
of
million.
beyond that now. That one's kind of like come down now because it's been 3 years, so we got our
Yeah.
money's worth out of it where I can fire the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I gave him. He has new weapons, and we're a quarter of the season into it.
Already.
And I would say his evaluation that Tepper's evaluation of Rule would be like, you're not doing enough. You're going to be fired. But he's saying, I'm going to give you so many games to prove otherwise, right? So I think if you were to ask, I think right now Tepper knows, like, yeah, I would like to get rid of this guy if. I think that's going through his head. I'm going to get rid of this guy when this happens because things aren't going good. So the bye week is week 13. That I guess it's 3/4 of the way through the season. Gives you a bye week, gives you a chance to put.
That's a
new
late
coach
bye
in there.
week too.
It's late. It's late. But if he hasn't stunk it up yet, right? Like if I'm being the owner, like I'm not liking what you're doing, but you haven't stunk it up yet to where I'm going to say you're just.
And to his defense, I mean, in yesterday's game, it wasn't until the fourth quarter where the train was derailed. I mean, they were competitive through 3 quarters yesterday. So it wasn't like they were getting blown out, even though it felt like that in the fourth quarter because of how things went and how fast Arizona was able to put points on the board. But for the most part, this season, they have been in every single game. It just has not gone in our favor yet.
Right. So I think right now we have a chance for the wheels on the bus to fall off, which is not what I'm cheering for. But
I don't think anybody's cheering for that.
So, but here's why we could be at this point, and I feel like with what Josh is saying, that starting with week 8 is when I really feel like it should happen because you've given him ample time with his new toys, right? That's the big thing now. It's like we're just looking at this season. Of course, the other seasons are in the back of the mind why he's on the hot seat, but he has these new coaches, these new players. Quarter of the season, you're 1-3. You're definitely on the hot seat. You got this next stretch against the 49ers, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Falcons. Here's the first time that we've lost a game. I won't say the first time, but with this struggles, that we've lost a game by more than just like it was close.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at this point, you're going to have either some coming together and we make a turnaround, or you're going to have it fall apart because guys will be like, all right, not that I don't care, but it's just become so hard to overcome a lot of crap. You know, I'm doing bad at going through these questions fast, so I'm going to cut myself off right there, and I'm going to make an attempt to get through lots more of these questions here, all right? So I'm putting myself on a timer, because we got a lot of questions that have come up. All right, we're just going to take turns knocking these out. Andre, let me know when you got to go because I know you don't have all day to be on here.
All right.
Let's go ahead. Boom. Robbie Anderson's on Twitter. I'm sorry, on YouTube.
Ooh. Who's your next choice for our next head coach? I know Dan Quinn was a name that they threw out in that report, a couple of days ago when they were saying something about wanting to hire a coach with experience, a veteran head coach. You know, when they initially were looking for a head coach after they fired Rivera, I really wanted them to get Eric Bieniemy. You know, that was a name that just, to me, with the candidates that they had, stuck out. So I think, you know, if and when they decide to pull the trigger and move on, I don't know if Dan Quinn's going to be that guy. A lot of people are going to be a little iffy about that. I mean, he's a good defensive coach, and we've seen, you know, the successes that he had in Atlanta and also some of the downfalls that he had in Atlanta. But his name's going to be thrown in that list. Eric Bieniemy has to be a name that you have to consider. I mean, he should be a head coach by now, in my opinion, with the things that he has done for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Those are the two names that come to mind immediately for me, at least. I don't know about you, Chris.
Hey, we gotta run through it.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll take this one. Get Cam now. Get Cam now. What, a ticket to the game? that is the only thing I would get Cam Newton right now is a ticket to the game. Anything beyond that is not even going to sell tickets at this point. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some diehards, but I think for the you get Cam now.
His best days are behind him. I hate to say it. I'm a big Cam guy too, but yeah, that ship has sailed.
I mean, some national media would love it. I'm sure Shannon and Sharp, Stephen Smith, those guys.
Stephen A. Smith, yeah.
Otherwise, all right. So we're going to keep up the pace. We're going to speed up the pace.
1-7 would feel like a move Tepper would make. Yeah, I would say so. I don't think it would get to that point. I feel like 1-5 would be a move when Tepper would decide to do it. But yeah, for sure, 1-7, that would definitely be 100% the time to do it.
Our QB sucks, says Kenny P. He is definitely not.
Which one are you referring to, Kenny? There's a whole list of them. Is that Kenny Pickett that's making that comment? Kenny P? Is he sabotaging the Panthers? Fired by week 8?
I feel bad for the defense. Defense is close to being elite, but not when they're on the field for what seems like the entire game. You know, I struggled to find this stat last time quickly. Time of possession.
Oh, Arizona dominated that statistic.
Oh, man. I don't think I'm going to find it quickly, which I'm going to hate. I'm going to make that a to-do list.
But didn't they have it like 10 minutes longer than Carolina did the entire game?
Let's see. I'm gonna go to one of the
something along that ballpark.
Let's see if I can quickly find the time of possession. I'm so sorry. I feel bad that. Here we go. Time of possession.
Yeah.
38 minutes. Arizona Cardinals. 21 minutes.
Oh wow.
Carolina Panthers.
So they had it for nearly a quarter more. So like
Nearly
what,
a quarter
17
more.
minutes? So more than a quarter more.
And you want to check out our third down efficiency?
2 of 10.
2 of
Right.
10. And our fourth down efficiency, 1 of 3.
Not ideal.
Technically better because I think Andre may be a math nerd as well, but
I try.
Tells you that we actually are more efficient yesterday
on fourth
downs at
33% compared to 20%.
Hey, don't steal my math. So yeah, you got to feel bad for the defense, and I feel bad for the fans. It's tough. Let's keep on trying to work through this.
11-6 NFC title game versus Tampa. You're really optimistic, my guy. I hope that happens, but the realism is starting to set in right now. It seems far-fetched at this point.
Why is Tepper sticking with Rule? He's
such a good question
because he liked him a lot, and now he's sticking with Rule because he's getting his exit strategy together. Okay, that's really it. I don't feel like if you ask David Tepper behind closed doors, if he said, "Yeah, I'm happy,"
off the record kind of deal.
Yeah, but you know when you go to fire a guy, you still got to have some kind of plan. You still got to feel like you did something not justifiable, but something with a process. And I feel like Tepper's like, hey, I was gonna do my David Tepper impression because I think, you know, guys, when here's what
you just got to talk a lot. You have to talk a lot, and then don't back it up. That's basically Dave Tepper for you right there. Is that too blunt? That sounds a little blunt.
You can be blunt. Here you go.
Panthers, okay, from Albert R. Thanks for tuning in. Panthers have the talent. They just need to be consistent on offense. And that's been the theme. They have not been consistent. They have been rather inconsistent. I mean, their best quarter that they've had so far was the fourth quarter against the Browns. And we all thought that'd be a preview for what would be a thing for things to come. And it just, unfortunately, has been a dud up to this point.
Because we have to keep it quick, I want to get to all the comments. I can only shake my head. All right. We're all right. So, hey, what's wrong with some optimism here? You know, Ron
I need to have what he
was
I wish
1-3, turned it around, 12-4. I personally think you don't hang your hat on the long shot. I mean, of course it's possible, but that's a long shot.
I want to know what he has in his drink right now because I need some of what he's having right now. High dose of life right there. 1-17.
1-17.
Oh,
so
man.
1-16.
It'd be 1-16. Yeah.
It'd be 1-7. Don't wish that on me, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be more friends than that because I have to go to these games and report on. Don't wish.
Yeah, we don't want to add wrinkles and sadness to these two lovely faces that you see right now. We can't have that.
Now we've been bouncing questions between each other, but I'll go ahead and take this one, Andre.
Okay.
Specifically mentioned me. Please tell me you believe me now when I say that picking up trash from other teams' trash pile is not the answer, and we should have left Sam and Baker where they were.
Ooh.
I get it. So I could take a step back and give you some analysis, but you're taking 2 steps back. Like you're going back in time, and I forget where I heard it. Hindsight is 20/20.
Yep.
Right. Meaning you're always going to be able to say something. Hey, if I could look into the future, what would I have done? These guys, it's not working out, but I give Matt Rule credit for trying to make things better. But I also say this is why Matt Rule's at the end of his rope because credit. You tried to make things better. You didn't stick with something and just keep trying to get success with the same things that weren't working. You tried some things, and they're not working. So now you're going to have to go. It's where we're at with that. But I appreciate the comment, Felix, very much. We'll continue to come through here. You got it, Andre.
So we got Jimmy Taylor, 1570 here. People who are blaming the quarterback is wrong. We ran 13 times yesterday, but threw 36 times. Set the leading receiver. I guess he's referring to McCaffrey on that one. But yeah, I think, the lack of balance is something that, definitely needs to be, highlighted here. I mean, there were multiple opportunities in the game to establish the run game, and they just, for whatever reason, just continued to throw the ball. And it allowed, Arizona to pick up on that. And our offense became more predictable as the game went along, to the point to where they had no other option but to pass yesterday because they were falling behind. So I think, having that balance, that continues to be something that they're trying to figure out, and they have to get more players involved. And that's also a testament to having balance with the players and the talent that you have on your offense. And they're still trying to get that figured out, unfortunately.
Underground West is not liking Baker Mayfield, which he's allowed not to do.
Not a leader of men.
Kind of already addressed this one. Albert, do you think Baker's holding the offense back? He's absolutely a part of the problem. Slideshow Rob.
Baker leads the league in batted passes.
He does, that is true.
He leads the league at something.
At this point, us getting another pick would be the best outcome. It could happen, man.
Man.
Andre, I'm just running through these super quick.
That's all good, right? Vincent
says, "Hey, Chris, what's going on, Vincent? I see that we've gotten somebody that's come on, but I'm going to try to go through a few more comments before I bring you on to get your question out there. Disappointing would be an astounding understatement. What would you say? What would you say instead of disappointment? You got some more predictions here.
11-6, man.
Rule is gone after week 8 or 7. How many more losses do you think until Rule is gone? This guy's not an NFL coach. We are the laughing stock of the NFL. We kind of already touched on that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Steve Wilkes
here talking about Steve Wilkes as an interim head coach. So that certainly would not be far-fetched if we are firing Matt Rule during the season to give you an interim coach, guy that's been a head coach, guy that is loved in the locker room. Certainly, I know those defensive guys love him. So that would not be a bad thing to happen there. I do think the locker room will get behind Steve Wilkes more than Rule at this point. I feel like any change the guys would get behind. Not that they're sitting there hating Rule, which could, but if you get a new coach in, it's a fresh opportunity for everybody.
It's a new voice.
You're 1-3. Get some victories. That'll be good.
Yeah. Kyler 8's 5'8", beat us.
They were super talented. Baker is not. Which is our point. And I'm going to bring Panther Pickle in here in a second. That's our point. Just because Baker is not 6'2", is not his problem. That's not it. He needs some other skills, period. He could be 6'2" and still suck. And we're going to.
And there's plenty of guys out there like that.
Yeah, there's tons of them out there. All right, give me the thumbs up if you're ready to come on the show, sir. I see there's a thumbs up. Here we go.
Let's hear it. Let's
give me your name and what you got for us.
Hey, I'm Panther Pickle, and I just want to know if today Rule was asked about other college teams inquiring about him, and he declined to comment. Do you think there's a possibility that Rule may leave the Panthers before he's fired? If you've already answered this, I apologize. I just got off work and tuned in. So
appreciate you, Panther Pickle, joining us. We have not been asked that question, and man, for him to join us right after work, that's special.
That's dedication right there.
And coming on to the show.
Absolute dedication.
Do I think that I don't feel that Rule would quit on his team? Because that's what you would be doing in that case if you left.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're quitting on your team. I think you do that, you're absolutely cutting off the possibility of coming back to the NFL because it's like, hey, you just jumped ship.
And you're going to have even more people hating you if you decide to do something like that, too.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Harbaugh just did something crazy like that up in Michigan, right?
But that's John Harbaugh, though, or Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, one of those Harbaughs did that.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like he wants to succeed at this level. The guy's already paid. Joining another team mid-season as a coach just isn't the most fun thing to do. So
It just looks ugly.
yeah, I don't think
It's
he
just
would
it's
jump
not
ship
good.
and go to
Yeah.
the college. Now, do I feel like he's getting calls and offers from college? Absolutely, because those organizations wants to win, and he certainly the seat is hot here in Carolina. But Andre, you can give me your 2 cents on that. But I feel like he stays.
Yeah, I don't see him doing that. To me, would it make sense for him, especially in the middle of the season? I think it would just rile up people even more. Uh, Already, there's a whole bunch of people riled up on him. It just wouldn't look good for him, and like you said, it just would give very bad optics of him quitting on his team, and that's not a good message to send to anywhere that you decide to go to, wherever that may be.
Gotcha. We're gonna keep on going. I see you're still there. We just give one question, Panther Pickle. I appreciate you staying there. Maybe you just didn't know how to get off, so I'm gonna boot you
Yeah.
off. And not personal.
Right. But appreciate the question, though, Panthers Pickle.
Let's see what else we got here. Brad Holt saying he hoped that Rule is fired during the bye week. Andre, I'm going to take a voice break, and I'm going to pop these things up, and I'll let you say your
Okay.
comments.
All right. So, Silverback 704, can we fire David Tepper? Well, he's the guy that makes those decisions. So, I don't think he'd fire him himself, but I know a lot of people would be in favor of that to happen.
Hey,
a lot of talk.
A heck of a GoFundMe account.
Oh,
to even
man.
have the money for anybody to even listen to what we're saying.
If we could compile $2.5 billion, maybe that'd be considered. But, I mean, otherwise than that, I think that's pretty far-fetched. Brian Flores as an option. I think for Eddie opening, he should be an option, but I just don't think it'd be here in Carolina. Dan Quinn, heck no to Eric Bieniemy. Eric the Enemy. Wow. I don't know where that came from. Ken Dorsey, yeah, he was an option. I mean, he worked for Carolina a couple of years back, so that's definitely somebody to consider as well. Brian Flores or Steve Wilkes, definitely. Cam over Baker. Whoa, okay now.
Oh, I know what he's saying. Cam is taller, so Cam
okay.
over Baker. That's what that one is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hope that's what he means, because as of right now, I can't vibe with that one. Rather see PJ Walker. You're on an island on that one. One of like a couple hundred people. I would not want to see that. Josh, this is a great year to lose, to be honest, not panicking, looking to quarterbacks in the draft and then a new coach. I mean, does this feel like 2010 all over again? But like with 2 losing seasons before that? I hope not. But this is what it seems like is going towards right now. Darius Behringer, not that I care, but how does Rule's contract pay, or how would that, be handled if he got fired prematurely? That's a question that I have for you, Chris. How would that whole situation go down if he does get fired prematurely before his contract is up? Does Tepper just pay it off right, or does it like come out from the Panthers side of things in their cap space? How does that all go down? Because you're the business guy here.
I'm the business guy. I really think he would get
Man of the people.
I think he would get it all.
Just straight up front?
Well, I don't know how the payments would go.
Or just over time.
I mean, I don't think that's more of a private deal versus like with the players to have the NFL Players Association and these rules, because you want to try to control how teams are spending money so that you don't get any unfair advantage. But I feel like the coaches, I don't know for sure, but I feel like it would just get paid in one lump sum. I don't know. Good question.
That's a great question, yeah.
Oh, I wonder if I ask somebody right now of how they feel like, you're asking me this question at this time of night? Yes, people need to know.
Yes.
Wake up.
It's a top of mind question that I feel like a lot of people have right now about this certain individual.
All right, 7 minutes to go. We're going to try our best to get speech session and go through these questions that are out there, Nathan. All right, let's keep it going. So just so you know, we're not trying to be short. We just want to touch everybody that has taken the time to join our show tonight.
And thank you for everybody for tuning in too, by the way, while we're at it. He's sticking with Matt Rule because he's not a competent owner.
Says Silverback 704. If Rule is fired at week 8, who would be available for head coach? We kind of jumped on some of those already.
Yeah, that
Doesn't
boy
like Baker.
Baker.
Malcolm Gerard Smith. I don't blame you there. This is just
Boy.
a thing. We're here to help you. A hero's path. Doesn't like Matt Rule still being here. Justin Quick, why won't they get Eric Ebron to assist Baker since he's struggling? He moved the chain and wants to come here. Ian Thomas and Tommy Trimble ain't as far as playmakers get Baker a big.
Hey, he's a Carolina guy. He went to UNC, so I mean, there's that connection there.
Has anyone looked at the stats from yesterday's game? Running 16 times the whole game. Why? Coach Rule's going to tell you third down conversions. I'm just going to say that's what he told me yesterday.
Third down conversions, but they had so many opportunities, so many 3rd and 1s yesterday, and they just couldn't, for whatever reason, get it. At least it's not Jimmy Clausen or Chris Winkie era. Let's throw some other names in there. Tony Pike, Brian St. Pierre, Matt Moore. I mean, man, we're going down the rabbit hole here. Michael Boynton, I'm here for Andre. Let's go. I appreciate it, man. May know him, may not know him, but hey, I appreciate the love representing.
I like this comment here. I would give Dan Quinn a
long
stare.
At his bald spot or at his ability to coach? You might need to specify on that one, but I think I know what you mean.
Says that Baker has to find those throwing lanes.
He does.
Hey, maybe he needs to talk to having, in the offseason, a lot of these guys can get together and practice and do so with other teams, other players from other teams.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to hook Patrick Mahomes up with Baker Mayfield.
Well, remember, and I feel like the surgery had something to do with him, altering his throwing motion. So maybe, I don't know if that's like something that's factoring into why he hasn't.
Throwing arm, though. It's on the other side. It's on the left.
But you still,
Mahomes can throw the ball, from here.
Opposite end zones, opposite end zones.
I know that might seem extreme, but that is a pure example about the fact that Patrick Mahomes isn't short. He isn't the tallest guy. How tall is Patrick Mahomes?
It's like 6'2", 6'3".
I know Google doesn't tell us everything properly, and some people lie about their height.
Right.
They got Patrick Mahomes listed as 6'3".
6'3".
6'3".
So he's Steph Curry.
Right.
When it comes to height.
But what does this guy do when he's throwing the ball? Is he always straight? This guy finds angles and throwing lanes.
He's a contortionist.
He's 6'3". So that's it. Baker doesn't simply.
Did you see that one throw that he had in the end zone to Hilaire? Oh, you need to see it, man. You want to talk about contortionists. That is the purest definition, that one play that he had yesterday, right there.
Let's see. We're going to pick one more, then we're going to have to wrap it up. I'm sorry we did not get through all the questions. We'll do better.
We'll do better. But again, thank you for everybody for leaving comments and liking and tuning on in. We appreciate y'all having you here.
Let's see. Can we trade?
Ooh. Can we trade Rule to the Canadian League? I don't know the logistical processes behind that, but maybe. I don't know. That's a little far-fetched there.
Thanks, guys. I truly enjoy the podcast because y'all keep it clean, and I love you both. Seem to know your stuff. We do keep it clean. We got kids, and even though we don't,
it's a family atmosphere around here.
And there's plenty of loudmouth talking. And I'm not saying that loudmouth isn't entertaining. There's plenty of people out there using profanity. Not saying that it's not entertaining, but this is just what I choose, and I'm glad that you guys like it, which is my opportunity to ask you to hit the subscribe. My voice is getting low.
Hit the subscribe button.
What he said, and then hit the other
comment button and the like button as well. Leave your comments as well. On top of all of that.
All that stuff. We appreciate it kindly. And you know what? I'm going to play one clip. What we got, like 2 minutes to go?
Yeah. We're at 7:58.
For you guys before we go. Let's see if I can do it. And I'm hungry too, man. I'm starving.
Same here. Now that you bring it up.
Now that I bring it up. Oh, I didn't do
right.
it right. Let's try this again. Well, let's hit this here. Let's hear Matt Rule talking about his job security before we go. Let's see here. We got it going there. We're going to do this here. There we go. We'll go on the side. And bingo. Oh, didn't bingo properly.
There we go.
I've got a lot of confidence in myself, our staff, and our players. I think everyone here is aligned. I think the guys I think they all feel like, that was a 10-10 ball game going in the fourth quarter. Then that we knew it was going to be a battle, and unfortunately, if you have three turnovers and 2 4th and 1s you don't get, it's really 5 takeaways for our defense. And so our team will respond. They always do, and I think we feel like we just have to get better.
Do you have any, I guess, fear or trepidations when it comes to your job security at this time? Are you having any concern?
If I make it about me, I'm not really the coach that I want to be and who I say I am. It's always about the players. It's always about our team. We're 1-3. With this team, we've had some close ball games. We had a chance last night. It just wasn't good enough last night. So as the head coach, I'll always stand up first and put it on my shoulders. But I think at the end of the day, we're just going to keep trying to get better.
There you go. The comment about Baker Mayfield. About his job security. Hey, we're going to end, but we got to end with this right here. Boom. That is a $10 super chat contribution from, I'm going to guess that says Machiavelli. Hopefully I got that right. So we don't push the donations, but they are heavily needed, heavily appreciated. We're independent media, 100% supported by your contributions. So those donations help for me, Andre, Julio, all of our staff to do what we love
for
to do.
everybody.
For you. It takes a lot. We actually got to do some more equipment purchasing here because we've had a few problems with the sound that goes out, so I got to make some enhancement there because quality is important here. But it all helps, and anytime that you have a chance to do so, we appreciate it. But again, if you're not in a position to do so, hit that like button, subscribe, help us get our numbers up. That'll continue to help us.
Oh, we got another one. You see it? You see it popping up?
Get some things going. You guys may not see it, but I have a mic in my ear that I'm going to have to turn down because Andre just yelled so loud.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. I like the excitement. So I appreciate that. I'll let you talk about this one, Andre. Go for
Some
it.
good stuff. Do good things. That's an inside joke. But yes, appreciate you tuning in, Michael. Definitely do appreciate that.
So we appreciate it all. Dinner awaits me. I'm sure dinner awaits Andre.
It sure
Monday Night
is.
Football is on. My son has stopped yelling, Dad, Dad. Maybe he's getting sleep. I got to put him to sleep. Thank you all very much. Hey, for Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again shortly.
Peace out, everybody.